Hey guys, Frightener22 here, and welcome to my December 22nd DVD and Blu-ray update. It's been just about 2 weeks since my last DVD and Blu-ray update, so I'm going to show you guys all the TV shows, movies, DVDs, Blu-rays that I've gotten within the last 2 weeks. But before I get into that, today is actually a very special DVD update, because today is actually my birthday. That's right, it's Frightener22's birthday. I'm actually 25 today. It's hard to believe I'm 25 years old. That's 5 away from 30, and although I certainly don't look 25, and I certainly don't seem to act like I'm 25, I am 25. So yep, today is my birthday, and I'm choosing to spend the first few minutes of my birthday shooting a DVD update for all you YouTube fans. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. But before I actually get into all the goodness that I've got, I actually have something somewhat important to bring to you, to all you guys' attention, and I just want to bring a little piece of paper in front of me so I have all the facts down. For as many of you guys know, I'm a huge fan and supporter of Shout Factory, and if you guys have been following, Shout Factory has actually been responsible for releasing a ton of the classic Nickelodeon shows onto press DVDs, such as Ah Real Monsters, Hey Dude, Cat Dog, Hey Arnold, The Wild Thornberrys, and The Angry Beavers, as well as Rocko's Modern Life, which they'll be putting in a complete series set in February. But just yesterday, actually, they made a big news announcement. It was actually I think the news first broke on TV shows on DVD.com, so you can find all the details there. But pretty much what's happened now is two of the programs, The Wild Thornberrys and Hey Arnold, are going to be moving to the Shout Select line. Now, what the Shout Select line is it's actually a line, basically a storefront on Shout Factory's website that they sell directly from there and nowhere else. It's just there. So basically when things end up in the Shout Select line, more or less, it's because the sales haven't been that great on them in stores and maybe on online retailers. So they want to keep continuing putting these shows out for the fans as long as the demand is there, and of course as long as these things sell. But when they kind of go into the Shout Select line, that's kind of a first sign that they're not really doing too hot. So at this point now, Hey Arnold and the Wild Thornberrys have been lumped into the Shout Select line. So as of right now, on January 15th, the Wild Thornberrys Season 2 Part 3 will be made available exclusively on the Shout Select line, which means you need to place your order or pre-orders exclusively through Shout Factory, and they'll ship it out to you. And then 2 weeks later, on January 29th, Season 3 of Hey Arnold is going to be released underneath the same line. I'm going to leave the links to both of the product pages on their website so that you guys can place your pre-orders and ensure that you get these things. But I can't stress enough how important it is to support this line to ensure that these shows are completed through Shout Factory, because that's really the name of the game. With any business or DVD company putting stuff out, the sales need to be there for the company to invest the money to put these things out. So I really want, for my birthday, guys, do this for me. Just place your orders through that. I know it might not seem as convenient as like Amazon Prime and whatnot, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to get your classic Nickelodeon shows in your collection. So I'm really trying to get the word out there for Shout Factory to ensure that these shows are completed. Now, there hasn't been any news indicating on whether, Ah Real Monsters or Cat Dog or Hey Dude or any of the other shows are going to be added into the Shout Select line. I'm willing to bet that if we haven't heard anything about that now, that those shows hopefully are selling a little bit better. And, for the most part, Ah Real Monsters only has one more season to be completed. Cat Dog and Angry Beavers, they're almost there. Hey Dude only needs 2 more seasons. But Hey Arnold has 2 more seasons after Season 3 to get through. And the Wild Thornberrys still has, I think they have 5 seasons altogether, but Season 2 was just a really long season. So after this release, Seasons 3 through 5 are kind of regular, numbered seasons. So hopefully it's going to be a little bit easier to squeeze those out. But again, I would really appreciate it if you guys are Nickelodeon fans and have been supporting Shout Factory and these Nick releases. Continue doing so by placing your pre-orders through the Shout Select line. Like I said, I'm going to leave links to both of these product pages in the info box below, so definitely do that. Well, now enough of the shameless plugging for Shout Factory. Let's go ahead and get into this December 22nd birthday edition DVD update. The first one that I got is a Blu-ray, and this is actually a music-based Blu-ray, which is things that I don't really buy. I don't really buy too many concert things. The only things that I have off the top of my head on the Blu-ray format are like Michael Jackson's This Is It, and I recently bought the Alice Cooper concert on DVD from Shout Factory. But this one I had to pick up considering it's one of my favorite bands, and this is the Blu-ray edition of Metallica, Quebec Magnetic. Now this is a Blu-ray release. I think that was shot in 2009 at one of Metallica's Death Magnetic tour stops in Quebec, and I saw Metallica live for the first and only time during the Death Magnetic tour, and they were amazing. That concert was just unreal. I was on the floor for that concert. It was just one of the coolest concert experiences I've ever had, and I've been to a lot of concerts. I mean, they just know how to still bring it, tons of energy, tons of adrenaline, awesome kick-ass songs. Not much more you could ask for. I haven't cut into this because I just got it this week, but you can look on a ton of review sites, and the verdict is pretty much out that the audio and visual representation on this is killer, especially the audio representation. This thing just sounds fucking amazing. So I'm really excited to cutting into this because, like I said, I was there live for this concert, or for this tour rather, and it was just a ton of fun. I recently met Kirk Hammett at a show. I had him sign his recent book, Too Much Horror Business, which is a great book if you guys haven't picked it up. He was a super cool guy. Metallica is one of my favorite bands, so if you're a fan of Metallica and heavy metal and want to just kind of beef out your concert Blu-ray collection, Quebec Magnetic is definitely a good way to go. The next one I got, yet again, is from Shout Factory, and this is one that is pretty interesting, and I'm really excited to cut into it, but I actually first need to get into the previous show that came before this one. So, this is Ultraseven, the complete series. This is actually a 6-disc collector's edition. Now, this is actually a Japanese program from like the 60s and 70s, and there's been just numerous versions of this show throughout the years. I think that they have like, 10 or more versions or different, versions of this show. It kind of seems like, with the different versions over the years, and they've kind of changed it into different things, that kind of seems like it's, reminiscent of how Power Rangers has worked throughout the years. But the show that kicked it off was Ultraman, and I think Shout did release the first season of that, or maybe it was BCI, and then I believe Mill Creek Entertainment put out a complete series set. The Mill Creek version of that show is the one that I own in my collection, so once I heard that Shout Factory was continuing to do more versions of this show, I had to pick this up because I did a little bit of research on this, and apparently Ultraseven is one of the best, if not the best, of the show. So I'm really looking forward to checking this out. My friend Cliff McMillan was actually the producer on this. I interviewed Cliff for the Scream Factory interview at Horror Hound Indianapolis. That's found on my YouTube channel. Cliff's a great guy, and he produced this set, so this is really cool. There's a really big, thick booklet in there with a ton of cool liner notes, and yeah, overall this just looks like right up my alley, so I'm really happy that I picked this up, so definitely check this out. The next two I got are from Shout Factory, thanks to their Timeless Media acquisition, and their double feature, DVD double features of Django films. And the first one is Django Kills Silently and Django's Cut Price Corpses. Obviously, this is, just trying to tie into Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained coming out on Christmas Day. So I have the original Django film that Blue Underground put out on Blu-ray a few years ago. So I just figured, these were like bargain bin prices. I believe these are like $5.99 on Amazon. Like I said, it's a double feature. It's on one DVD. So yeah, I just figured I would beef out some more Django films for that price. And the other Django double feature that they put out was A Man Called Django and Sartana's Showdown in the West. Like I said, I've never seen any of these double features yet, but, for the price of $5.99, I figured, what the hell, it's worth kind of beefing out the collection. Moving in, I have a Disney Blu-ray next, and this was a blind buy, but, as many of you guys know, if it holds the Disney logo, I'm going to buy it, because I love Disney. And this is Annette Funicello in Babes in Toyland. I've always known about this film, but I guess for whatever reason, I just never took the time to check it out, but thankfully I held off because really unexpected Blu-ray release from Disney, but definitely a welcome one into my collection because more early live-action Disney films is always a good thing. So I think I'm on vacation now from work for the next week or so, so I'm going to be looking forward to getting into a lot of the stuff that I have in this DVD update, so this is definitely high on my priority list. The next one I got is from Kino, and this is part of their Mario Bava collection, and this is Barren Blood. I don't know too much about it, but you can't deny how killer that artwork looks. I really like the cover of this. I've heard this movie's pretty fun, pretty trippy stuff. I own a bunch of the other Mario Bava Kino films that they've released, such as Black Sunday, and a few other ones in the collection, and this is just one of the most recent ones that they put out within the last 2 weeks, so had to pick it up and continue beefing out the Bava collection on Blu-ray. Again, from Shout Factory through their Scream Factory division. This is one of their other recent releases, and this is the Blu-ray DVD combo pack of Death Valley. This is a cool one. It's not the greatest film in the world, but it's still cool. It stars Peter Billingsley, who, you know, is most famously known as Ralphie from A Christmas Story, and Catherine Hicks from the original Child's Play and Seventh Heaven. This is a cool one. It's about a mother and a little kid, and they go on, like, you know, a road trip, and basically just some random psycho is stalking this kid and wants to kill him for no reason really at all, but it's cool. It's shot really well. The locations are really, used to their full advantage of this. It's not the greatest film in the world, but it's definitely one that I'm really happy that Scream Factory decided to pick up, because it's never seen a legitimate release before, let alone on Blu-ray. The only time that I've had this was on just, a crappy bootleg that I bought at a convention a few years ago. So once I heard that Scream Factory was putting this out, I had to pick it up just to support it. And like I said, this isn't the worst film in the world. It's certainly not. It has its enjoyable moments. It's just not the greatest thing in the world. So I'm just trying to keep everybody's expectations at bay with it. But definitely, the Scream Factory line has just been absolutely killer. I love supporting each and every release, and Death Valley is no exception. The next one that Disney put out, it's a Touchstone film, and a very, very, desired one for me. I'm so happy that this is out, and this is the Blu-ray edition of Dick Tracy. I grew up obsessed with this movie. I watched this film on VHS countless times. I owned the Dick Tracy toys. I would just, roam around the house, pretending to be Dick Tracy, the whole nine. I loved this film. And when Disney was putting this out on Blu-ray, when I read the announcement, I could not have been happier. And one of the coolest things about this, actually, is I'm so happy that they gave it a slipcover, because I'm a slipcover junkie. So I'm really happy that they did that. Unfortunately, there is no special features at all, no trailer, no commentary, no interviews, no nothing. But that said, the audio and visual representation on this is killer. It looks and sounds phenomenal. I watched this the first day I got it in, because I just hadn't watched it in a few years, and the film still holds up really well. The production design in this is phenomenal. The music by Danny Elfman is one of his best scores, and just all the characters. And I mean, you have Warren Beatty as Dick Tracy, you have Al Pacino as Big Boy Caprice, and then you just have a slew of other people making cameos as gangsters, like Dustin Hoffman, and of course you have Madonna playing Breathless Mahoney, Charlie Korsmo, who would go on to be in Hook and Can't Hardly Wait. If you haven't seen this film, this is just one of my all-time, favorite childhood films, and it still holds up really, really well for me. So this is definitely one of my favorite films in this DVD Blu-ray update. Definitely check this one out. Another one from Disney that I picked up that is actually a blind buy I've never seen, and this is definitely one I'm going to check out this week. This is from the mid-90s. It's a Judd Apatow production starring Ben Stiller. This is Heavyweights. I'm sure a lot of people have been picking this up the last 2 weeks, and I gotta say, for a catalog title from Disney, this is ridiculously beefed out with special features, and I feel like it's because Judd Apatow kind of came to the rescue and wanted to contribute as many special features as he could with this, and he really did. There's more than 30 deleted and extended scenes, there's an audio commentary, a making of Heavyweights, Super 8 footage shot by the cast and crew while they were making it, a video chat with Judd and Kenan Thompson, a Where Are They Now, seeing all the kids in the film grown up, Judd's art project, his bizarre photos from the set, and the theatrical trailer. Like I said, this is an incredibly beefed out edition for an older catalog title from Disney, so that alone, I'm really excited to cut into this. I've heard nothing but great things over the years, so I can't wait to get into this one. Again, another Scream Factory title that came out the same day as Death Valley. This is the Blu-ray DVD combo pack of The Island. This stars Michael Caine. I've heard this is kind of a weird, goofy one, but nonetheless, I'm looking forward to checking this out. This was available previously on Universal Mod release, but Scream Factory kind of came to the rescue and decided to give it a pressed Blu-ray release, which is great because I really dislike DVD-Rs and manufactured on-demand releases, so this definitely fits the bill in my collection. I haven't gotten to it, but I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, this is just another really welcome one. As you guys can notice, this and Death Valley are different than the other ones, as these are not collector's editions. They don't have beefed out special features or, customized artwork or slipcovers or whatnot. So these are the first of the bunch that haven't been collector's editions, and there's going to be more of these as the Scream Factory line continues, but nonetheless, these films are really cool. There's no special features on Death Valley, or on The Island, but Death Valley, I know, does have an audio commentary with the director. So, hey, at least that's something. The next one I picked up is from Draft House Films, and this is the 1987 film Miami Connection. This is one that's been getting a lot of buzz of, a new kind of cult status appeal. It's like a film from 87. It's crazy, over the top, ridiculous, just a really awful, bad movie, but just so great, just really great cheese in it. I haven't watched it yet, but that's some really cool looking artwork and a really unique and, cool looking Blu-ray case too. It's really, you don't really see too many people messing around with different colored Blu-ray cases, so it's always kind of cool to get things like this in the mail and be like, ooh, that's different than the typical blue case. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this one out. The next one I picked up is a blind buy from Shout Factory. It went up for pre-order, and I was just curious to check it out, and this is the special edition of The Portrait of a Lady. This has Nicole Kidman and John Malkovich along with Barbara Hershey in it. I don't know anything about this film. It just kind of looked interesting to me. There's special features including Portrait, Jane Campion, and The Portrait of a Lady documentary and the theatrical trailer, so, that's something. I'm looking forward to checking this out. It seems like a cool period piece, so, we'll see how it is. The next one I got was a blind buy that I just checked out this week, and this is the Blu-ray DVD Unrated edition of Ted. I wanted to see this when it came out in theaters, but I was in Disneyland at the time, and I just never really got around to seeing it. But I picked it up on release day, and I checked it out, and overall, I wasn't crazy impressed with it. I didn't really think it was all that funny. There certainly were some really funny parts in it, but it wasn't really enough for me to think of it as anything less than meh. It wasn't really the greatest. I know that it did a tremendous business, and they're working on Ted 2 as we speak, so I'll definitely be, curious to see the sequel and see how that progresses, but overall, this one wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but, it is Seth MacFarlane's directorial debut, and he was wearing a lot of hats in this. He obviously was the voice and the movement of Ted. He wrote it, he produced it, he directed it, so that's a lot of hats to wear on your first film. So maybe on his next films, and of course the Ted sequel, which I'm sure he's going to be wearing just as many hats, but I know he's developing a new film that he's going to be working on, so maybe the less, duties that he has to be in control of, the more, he can just kind of focus on the film itself. But overall, this film, wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but there's some decent moments in it. Next one I picked up was just an impulse buy. Just wanted to continue beefing out some more of the box set, so there was a nice price drop on this. I got this for $20, and this is the X-Men Trilogy collection that has X-Men, X-Men United, and X-Men The Last Stand, so these films are great, so just wanted to add these into the collection. The next one I got is another impulse buy of a, action box set that I just needed to have in the collection, and this is the complete collector's set of the Rambo collection. For anybody that's out there that has this, like I said, I'm a huge slipcover junkie, so anytime I get things in that are missing slipcovers, I always go on hunts to find them, and as you can see, my Rambo complete series that did not come with the slipcover, so if any of you guys actually have the slipcover casing that was originally pressed with this and you want to part with it, send me a private message because I would love that, because I'm out of my entire collection. The only slipcovers that I'm missing right now are this and the Blu-ray edition of Lost Boys: The Thirst. So if you guys happen to have those Blu-ray slipcovers, the US editions of course, if you happen to have them and you want to part with them, private message me. Perhaps we can set up a PayPal thing, and I could definitely pay you for them. But yeah, I'm definitely jonesing to kind of get these because I'm so close to just having all the slipcovers in my collection. But yeah, this was just another action set that I needed to have. I have Lethal Weapon, I have Die Hard, I have a lot of, of the big action movie box sets, so this was really the last one that I needed, so happy to have that. This was an impulse buy, and this really was one of the last, big quintessential box sets that you kind of need in your collection. And I've never seen any of these films, so I figured, for the price, I think it's worth it, so I'll give it a whirl. And this is the complete 8-film collection of the Harry Potter series. Like I said, never seen any of these films, but, for less than $65, I thought that was a pretty reasonable deal for all 8 of these films on Blu-ray. So I'm going to be, looking forward to cutting into these films slowly, so hopefully they sit well with me. And the final haul for this Blu-ray DVD collection update is this one I picked up for like $5. This is the Skynet edition of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This did come with a slipcover too, but I actually managed to get somebody to sell it to me, so that is already on the way to me, thankfully. But yeah, I had to get this because I didn't have T2 or T3 on Blu-ray, so with the remastered edition of the Terminator coming out in February, I just had to seal off the rest of the collection. I already have Terminator Salvation. And within that same order, I got Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines for like $8. The next one I bought this on DVD when it came out about a month ago, but I wanted to buy it again on Blu-ray because this is actually this company's first Blu-ray release, so I wanted to show my support for them because I think that they do really good work, and I want to see them continue with the Blu-ray format, so I picked up the Blu-ray edition of Death Ship from Scorpion Releasing. I haven't cut into it yet. Like I said, I got the DVD, and I was going to buy the Blu-ray anyway, because I like to support companies that I really give a shit about. So I didn't even get a chance to watch the DVD, so now that I have the Blu-ray, this is definitely the version I'm going to cut into. But everything I've read is that this is the best looking version of the film that exists in, any territory in the world. It just looks so great. They did a wonderful transfer on this, so really looking forward to checking this one out. The next one I got was a blind buy, but I love these films, so I can't believe I missed this in theaters, actually. This is the Blu-ray DVD combo pack of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days. This is the 3rd film in the series. I missed this in theaters, I can't believe it, because I love these films, so yeah, I just never got around to getting to it when it got released in August of this past summer, but I did a blind buy on this, got this on release day. I can't wait to check this one out. These films seem to be doing pretty good. They have really modest budgets, but they seem to be doing pretty well. So I hope that they continue making them, because I can't get enough of these films. The next one I got was just an impulse buy, because Olive Films is putting out a new version of Highlander 2 on Blu-ray in February, I believe. So I decided to just pick up the director's cut of the original Highlander. I love this film. Got an awesome Queen soundtrack. Christopher Lambert's a badass in this. So yeah, and this apparently is ripe on the remake train. Last I've heard is Ryan Reynolds is supposed to be in it, so we'll see how that goes. This is another blind buy that I picked up. Shout Factory just put this out on Blu-ray, and this stars and was actually directed by Paul Newman himself, and it co-stars Henry Fonda and Lee Remick, and this is Sometimes a Great Notion. I don't know too much about this, but you can never go wrong with Paul Newman, especially on Blu-ray, so this was pretty reasonably priced. It was like $13.99, so I figured, what the hell, support one of my favorite companies and get a cool, 1970 Paul Newman film on Blu-ray. The next one I got was, I actually got it for free because I had a gift card from somebody gave me for my birthday. So I just, picked this up because I was going to buy it anyway, so I figured, I may as well not pay for it. So I picked up the Extended Director's Cut Blu-ray edition of Total Recall. This is the remake that Len Weissman just did this past summer with Colin Farrell, his wife Kate Beckinsale and Jessica Biel. I heard really good things about this film. It's really different than the Schwarzenegger version, which I think is a really cool, that's really what you should try and do, is kind of just pay homage to an original, and then just kind of make the film your own thing, and that's really what this film does. I've heard varying things, that it's really good to, it has a lot of good intentions, but it just doesn't pay off in the end. I don't know. I thought it looked really cool from the trailers. I just happened to miss this too this past summer, so I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. The next one I got was another impulse buy, because I just, I collect every Spielberg film on Blu-ray, and this film I love, and I just didn't happen to have it in my Blu-ray collection yet. I have it on DVD, and not only did Spielberg direct a segment, but Joe Dante, who's one of my favorite directors, John Landis, and George Miller also did this too, and this is Twilight Zone, the movie. I love this film. I think it's so great. Every segment I think is really, really good. And, it's a Spielberg film, and, Joe Dante's involved, so, and I have all, the original Twilight Zone series on Blu-ray, so this just had to kind of be on the shelf with it. The next one I got, this was a bit of an impulse buy, but it's because Mill Creek Entertainment is actually putting out a slew of animated titles in February, and one of them is actually the completion of this series, so I wanted to pick up the first volume of this series because it seemed pretty cool. It's from the 80s. It's an animated show called JC and the Wheeled Warriors Volume 1. This has the first 32 episodes on it, over 3 discs, I believe. Yeah, I think it's 3 discs. Yeah, it just seems up my alley. I'm a big animation, cartoon junkie. I just have tons of this stuff, so I wanted to pick this up because they're going to be finally completing the show in February and releasing a ton of other stuff, like the complete series of Street Sharks, which I know a ton of people have been wanting for years. That's actually up for pre-order now on Amazon for, I believe, $12.98. They're also putting up Beverly Hills Teens, a few other ones. I think it was like 5 or 6 that they're putting out all on the same day. So if you pre-ordered like all 6 of them, I think it's only like $60. They're really reasonably priced because it's Mill Creek releases, but they seem to be the only one putting out, some of those second-tier cartoon shows that just kind of people of that generation grew up with. So I'm happy that they're putting them out, so I'm definitely going to be picking up all those. So got JC and the Wheeled Warriors Volume 1 to start my little collection off with that. And the final Blu-ray that I got just yesterday, and this was a blind buy, but I heard really good things. It looked cool. And this is Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Michael Shannon in Premium Rush. This was directed by David Koepp. David Koepp is really renowned screenwriter in Hollywood. He's worked with Spielberg a ton of times, and he's a director in his own right. He directed Secret Window with Johnny Depp back in 2004, and this is his most recent effort. Like I said, I've heard really good things. It's about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's like a bike messenger in New York, and he's in charge of delivering a package. And before you know it, apparently he's carrying a package that a bunch of these thugs want from him, so he's kind of on the run from these thugs and whatnot. It seems really cool and, adrenaline paced, so I like films like this, so it's always cool to see David Koepp get back behind the camera in a directing manner, so I'm looking forward to checking this one out. And although not Blu-ray or DVD related, I figured I would show you guys some books that I just got from thanks to some Barnes & Noble gift cards that I got. The first one I got is The Essential Guide of Brave. If you guys have been following me on Twitter, you can always see every day I post, like, pictures normally of whatever things I get in the mail before a DVD update, so I've always kind of referred to my Twitter account as kind of like a quick fix of things before, the 2-week stretch is up for the next DVD update. So every day, if I get anything in the mail or buy anything, I take a picture of it and upload it so you guys can see it, and books and stuff. So I picked this up because another thing that I show you guys on my Twitter account is I draw. I've been drawing ever since I was a little kid, so I sketch normally every day, so I've been uploading my sketches. Yesterday I just did Flick from A Bug's Life, and the day before that, I did Donald Duck, so I picked this up because this was a really cool reference guide for the characters. There's some really great shots of the characters and all these great poses in this. So I picked this up. This was like $10, so I'm really looking forward to drawing Merida next. That's like my goal for tomorrow or the next day or something. But yeah, this is a great little book. The next one I got is the Disney Junior Encyclopedia of Animated Characters. This was really cool. Obviously, this is geared a little bit more towards kids, but it's just a really great reference guide of, it's an encyclopedia of practically, the majority of most of all the Disney animated characters, all found in really great poses and pictures, which is great for when I'm sketching, all cartoon characters, because that's what I draw. I just draw Nickelodeon and Disney and Hanna-Barbera characters. I just love drawing cartoons, so this was another great book that I picked up for that reason. And the next one I picked up, the last one of this update, I wanted to pick up for a while, so I'm happy that they had it on the shelves, and this is a Mary Blair Treasury of Golden Books. Mary Blair is a legend in Disney. She was one of Walt Disney's most prized Imagineers. Her work and, her, fingerprints are all over It's a Small World. She was the designer of that. That was really her baby. That's just entirely her. Those beautiful pastel colors found throughout the entire ride. And just, that very identifiable style that she has drawing these little characters and which is very evident. It's a Small World and the collection of golden books that she wrote. So within this collection is, all of her artwork and the stories, many of which have been out of print for many, many decades. So this is a really great book and reference guide to kind of not only have her artwork, but of course the stories that she contributed to. But this is just awesome stuff, especially since it, houses so much stuff that hasn't been available for a ton of years. So if you're a Disney fan, a design fan, a Mary Blair fan, this is definitely a very highly recommended book to check out. Well, guys, that concludes my December 22nd Blu-ray and DVD birthday edition update. Thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate all the support. I hope you guys enjoy this week's update. And like I said, please, if you're a big fan of Shout Factory and the Nickelodeon releases, do what you can and support these, the Hey Arnold Season 3 and Wild Thornberrys Season 2 Part 3 releases, which are going to be sold exclusively only through Shout's select line on their website. Like I said, I'm going to leave the links to those product pages in my info box, along with a link to my Twitter account so you guys can follow me and whatnot. So that's pretty much a wrap. I'm going to kind of get to watching movies and getting a head start on my birthday and my vacation. So once again, guys, thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys in another 2 weeks with another DVD and Blu-ray update. Thanks again.